So, hi, Stefan.
Hi, Ed. Hi, Sonicstate.
We're here in the Movenpick, which is the hotel just outside the Music Messe. And you've got a new Nord Piano to show us, right?
That's right. We've got the Nord Piano 4 with us here in Frankfurt this year. So this is obviously brand new, was announced this week, and it's the fourth generation of the piano series. And it builds on the success of the previous model, of course, the Nord Piano 3 and the triple sensor action. We also increased the polyphony by a good amount, so it's around 120 voices of piano polyphony. And some other nice new features as well.
Great. So yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah. So of course, just briefly, what is the Nord Piano 4? What is on the panel? It's the piano section, of course. Apart from the piano section, you have a sample synth section, which can be used to load any sort of any sample-based sound if you want to mix your piano sound with some strings or brass, or have a standalone synthesizer. You can do that.
Does it work with kind of older Nord kind of sample packs?
Yeah, it's as for the pianos, it's the same Nord Piano library that the sounds of which you find in all our instruments with the piano section. The sample format is the new sample Nord Sample Library 3.0 format, which is the same content as the previous library, but a new version for the new generation of instruments. So it's a same content that you would find in the Nord Stage 3 or the Nord Electro 6, for instance. But of course, the focus here is on piano playing, and to begin with, the keyboard is where the sort of piano experience begins with this instrument. So, as I mentioned, the triple sensor system is one key aspect of this, coupled with what we call the Nord virtual hammer action technology, which is just our way of handling the extra switch, the extra information that we can get from that. So it's about simulating hammer movements. It's about enabling techniques that you couldn't do on a normal keyboard. So that's where it begins, and it's also a heavier action than on our other instruments. It's a heavier grand-weighted action, as we like to call it. So it's very close to a grand piano feel, I would say. So that's the sort of most important aspect of what sets the piano apart.
So in terms of interface, have we got what kind of new features have we got?
Okay, so new features. I'll get to those as well and go through them in a bit more detail. But we do have the seamless transitions that you'll find on the Nord Stage 3 as well, which is, I might as well just show you that right now, which is just when you change sounds live, you can keep a chord ringing. You can change to a different program. In this case, electric piano sound, and you can start playing the new sound without any break in sound. So it's as you can tell, the changes between programs are really smooth. And if you're like most musicians, I would guess, occasionally play live, and you are up for the new song, which is a different sound, and you have a tight song change, then that's really handy. And it's quite addictive just sitting around playing it as well. It's just really nice to have everything transitioning smoothly as you're working with the instrument. So that's new. In the piano section, we have some new features. We have the dedicated equalizer settings for the piano. So what that means is that, for instance, if you wanted your piano sound to be a bit softer, a bit brighter, a bit more mid-heavy, then you can instantly do that by pressing the EQ control. So this is a basic Royal Grand 3D sound. I want to soften this down, I press the soft. I want it more mid-heavy or brighter. So that's a way of just really quickly being able to change the whole character of your piano sound without starting tweaking too many knobs.
And I suppose in a live situation, if you can just automatically hear that something's a little bit too bright, you could darken it. Or
exactly,
so it's just
you can do that. Yeah, and of course you can use this in combination with the EQ as well, which is something I actually like to do. I like the basic character of the mid setting, for instance, but I may want to pull the bass down a bit more even. Then of course I have the equalizer as well. So that's another of the new features. As we're talking about new features, let's just continue on that path and talk about the what we refer to as split crossfades. And I have here is a program that uses the split crossfade concept. We introduced this with stage 3, and it quickly became quite popular. And it's a really nice tool to, if you do have a split and you want to be able to play a bit more freely around the split point. You can use it creatively or just as a way of avoiding any harsh transitions if you want to play something that moves across the split point. And it's really easy to set up, of course. I'll show you that before I get started. So we just decide we want to split with a synth and piano, set the split, and set this split width to large. There are some other options. We can turn it off. You can have a small width, which will have the transition go over in total 1 octave, or the large one, which covers 2 octaves in total. So that's what I've done here. So in this case, a bass sound. This is a kind of sound a lot of people would use, a bass sound and a piano sound. And now I can be a bit more liberal about my playing around the split point. So what you're hearing now is that as I move,
it's kind of like a crossfade into the other sample almost. Yeah.
So if I had a line I was playing and I wanted to finish it with a note down here, I could do that, and I still have some piano sound, but I'd also cross into the bass sound. So
do you find that helps with kind of playing, being able to use both hands to kind of play both parts essentially? Like there's a crossover point, and then you're able to use, say, your left hand to play some of the piano parts as opposed to just playing the bass parts.
Exactly. It sort of frees up both hands a little bit, so that the bass sound here, if I wanted to, if I was doing something like a walking bass line, I could go up here and still have the bass character, but I'm also crossing into the piano sound. So same with the piano sound, of course. If I was playing. So it's just, to me, it's both a creative feature. You can use it. Another quick example, like in this case, I consider this a bit more creative, where I have a piano here and a violin sound here, and it's really nice as you start going up to get an increasing amount of violin sound until it turns into only violin. So. it's just something that gives you more options when it comes to combining sounds together. It's really useful and something to play around with for sure.
Was that kind of a user requested feature, or was it just kind of something that...
Not necessarily. It's that's one of those sort of ideas. It's something that it's. I mean, similar things can be done on perhaps in more advanced workstations and you know, machines like that. But what we wanted to have was a way to do this really quickly. So it's one of those ideas that are knocking around, and we decided to test it, and so it became, yeah, it worked, and it's also on the Nord Electro 6, which was released recently as well. So
cool. So let's keep going through kind of some of the other new features.
Yeah. So going a bit back and forth here, but returning to piano sounds and what is part of this piano playing experience. Of course, the features that have been around for a while, like the advanced string resonance and the pedal noise features, are still very important in the overall like piano experience. So the pedal noise is something that's enabled by the Nord triple pedal, which is on the floor here, and it's included with the Nord Piano 4. Apart from the sustain pedal, you also have the soft pedal and the sostenuto pedal, so it's even more like a grand piano. So of course, string resonance consists of two parts. One is the sympathetic string resonance, where you hold down a key like this. In a playing scenario, it would be a bit more involved, of course, but any keys that are pressed down like this will be activated by related keys. So that's something that really enriches the sound. And that combined with well, it's actually also part of the string resonance feature, but when you press down on the pedal, you have the actual samples from the piano or grand piano with the pedal down. So just playing a simple chord without the pedal pressed down, like this, and the same chord with the pedal pressed down, you can tell that there's a lot more ambience in the sound that you get with the pedal pressed down. So of course, this combined with the increased polyphony, with the triple sensors, etc., and the pedals, just makes for a really immersive playing experience, I would say. So that's the core of the piano concept. If you want me to move on a bit more, what I could talk about as well is just the content that we have in the piano library.
Of course, yeah. Let's hear some more of the piano.
Yeah. So for instance, what I began playing with, I guess, was this Royal Grand sound, which is just a really nice grand piano sound. So this is an example of just a really nice, really modern and nice concert grand. So here's that. Yeah, that's just a really nice grand piano sound. Upright sounds, of course, a lot of charming uprights. This is the latest release we did to the Nord Piano library. So it's a small upright with a lot of just character, I guess. So lots of nice, charming instruments with their own characters. That's what our Nord Piano library is about. So something we're really proud of as well. So so that's a key aspect of this. That even with the content that you have in the machine when you get it, you're free to replace it, download new instruments from the website, and get exactly the piano sounds that you want.
And adjust it on the fly, I suppose, because you've got a lot of control on the front panel.
And of course, electric piano sounds, especially if you, what I haven't mentioned yet is the effects section, which is very complete, contains all the modulation effects that you would expect, delay, equalizer, amp speaker section, and the reverb. So,
and you can apply this obviously to any of the pianos.
Exactly, and especially for electric piano sounds, of course, it's really nice with these analog style instrument or effects that you can apply to it. So, it's just a nice electric piano sound. Different kind of electric piano sounds. And another new addition to the Nord Piano library are the layer piano sounds, which is quite useful because it will provide sounds that are combined electric digital piano sounds together. So you get these pre-layered sounds that you can't necessarily create on the instrument itself. So here's an example of that. Obviously, very slick sound, become very popular and used in moderation. It's really nice. So.
Could we hear one of the electric pianos with kind of too many effects on it?
All right, yeah.
So like kind of
for sure.
Something like really over the top.
Yeah, so obviously what you can do is you can get some nice distortion going with one of the amp models. So maybe give it a bit more aggressive EQ. Maybe even use those filters. We have the delay, of course, that you can some more reverb. Then let's do this. Let's activate the control pedal for the pan effect. So what I can do now is I can have this pan, and then as I bring in the pedal, I have more and more of that effect. Let's bring down the reverb a little bit. So that's another thing to mention as well. Just the control pedal it can be used for the effects. It can be used for the synth section as well, or the piano to bring up the volume.
So how do you assign the kind of control pedal? Is that because I noticed there's a dedicated button on the effects?
Yeah. So you just press the shift button and turn on the control pedal like that.
Okay.
So that's how you do that. And the same for like the sample synth section. In fact, I have a sound here that has the volume active for the sample synth. So as I bring up the pedal, I will get the pad sound. So I can bring it back like that. So and since it's really easy to activate on the panel, once you have a pedal connected, it's so quick to decide if you want to just have the strings in the chorus or something like that. You can
quickly experiment with the control
to the pedal.
Yeah.
So just to round this off, a few quick notes about the sample synth, since we're in that area anyway. So again, apart from the piano, the sample synth section, and here I had a pad sound. The memory for the synth has been increased, so you now have 512 megabytes, so you can fit a lot of sounds in here, of course. And with these basic controls, you can really quickly adjust your sound. So now I'm just sort of resetting the synth section. So this is what the pad sounds without the settings that I've done. So okay, and I need the pedal as well. So here we go. So now I have a very sort of basic and sort of quick sound, and to create a pad out of that, I just bring up the attack and add some release to the sound, activate the velocity sensitivity and the filter together. So now I have a velocity sensitive filter and velocity control over the volume. So now we have a much more ambient sound, much more pad-like sound. And if I want to make adjustments, it's of course really quick. So that's the idea with the sample synth section. Just a minimum of controls that help you modify the sample sound quickly and make it really playable. So whether you want a really playable guitar or plucked sound, you can quickly set up the controls for that. If you want a pad with a more subdued quality, you have the filter for that, and it's a really sort of dynamic system that complements the piano really well, I would say.
So, do we have a price on the piano?
No, that's to be announced, as well as the shipping date.
Okay. Excellent. Well, Stefan, thank you very much.
Thank you.